The philosophy of the craft is to go out and find your weakness, train that to raise your overall ability level, not just do the things that you're great at. For me, one of my weaknesses that stands out is small target wind troop lines. So I'm out here to test it. One of the things that I'm going to be working on in the near future is using my compass to calculate the degrees of wind to the target rather than the clock angle. That 15-degree angle can often make a big difference when you're in certain zones of wind angle, and I don't want to run into the problems that I've been running into recently on small targets. So I'm going to change my Kestrel from clock to degrees. And because I'm training to be functional at an analog level, I'm not going to be using my Kestrel to measure the wind angle, but rather I'm going to be taking out a compass to calculate the wind angle, because I don't want to be caught in the field without electronics and not be capable of doing this same process in my head, analog style. So the way we're going to do this is grab your compass. You're going to put north on the dial towards your target, and then you're going to spin the rest of the compass, those arrows that you can see, you're going to spin those into the wind. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a wind angle to the target that's much more precise than clock angle. So in this case, with the target being ahead of us, wind coming in from the right at 52 degrees, we're going to be able to create a wind chart and a wind plan with a much more precise measurement of the wind than just saying, well, it's coming in around 130 to 2, because those 15 degrees can have a profound influence when you're shooting 1 MOA size targets. To test this, I went out and I put 1.5, 1, and 0.8 MOA targets from 400 to 800 yards in a 180 degree target array. This way we can test this wind plan, calculate hit percentage, and see if this strategy is slightly more effective than the wind strategy that I was using before. So check it out. Here's my array. It's got some small targets. I'm going to walk around in a 180 degree field of fire and calculate the hit percentage that I produce using the old system and then the new system and see what works. To get a baseline, I used my original method on 2 stages, and I noticed that I had around a 50% hit rate. These are small targets at a distance, and it's not something that I do all the time. That 50% hit rate on small targets at a distance tends to match some of my more recent troop line hit percentages at matches, so I wasn't super upset, but I understand that that's not good enough. Switching to the other method, I immediately raised those hit percentages to 75 and 80%, changing the angle, changing the wind call, changing the distance. It was consistently higher hit percentage, which affirmed my decision to drive out and spend the day shooting 100 rounds to test this. I think it was an important trip to make. I think it was good data to collect. And I think from here forward, I'll be using my compass and this particular wind strategy to try to raise that even higher. What I'd like to do is raise it into the 90% hit rate. But again, these are small targets at a distance with wind that can be variable. I don't think it's realistic to expect over 90%, but I do think it is realistic to expect over 70% hit rate. Anyway, this is a personal goal. This is my personal progress and journey towards Assassin's Way. I'm definitely using technology to aid my understanding, but as my rifle gets lighter, my gear becomes more analog, and I continue to test the fundamentals that I've been training and the strategies that I've been developing. I think my overall skill sets are rising, even though I might be doing something less efficient here or there. My understanding and appreciation for what's going on is definitely climbing. This particular wind strategy will continue to develop, but I want to share this process with you because I think that it had a profound influence on my shooting this particular day, and I think it'll continue to develop into the future. Now, there's plenty of you out there with great wind skills and cool ideas for strategy, and I'd love to hear those, because what you tend to read on the internet is look at Mirage, look at the angle that the Mirage is, and watch the grass move around and all sorts of shit. But in reality, that's very hard to do. And in a location like this, the grass just kind of wiggles and shakes. Mirage tends to be just hard right to left or hard left to right, and that doesn't do me much good. Getting out, testing it on paper, testing it on steel, and validating hit percentages with 100 rounds or so, like I did this day, it tends to reinforce whether something actually works or whether something doesn't really work. Anyway, that's what we do here at The Craft. Hopefully you like it.